Hi everyone, thanks for joining. I'm Joel Eccles from Clever Dynamics. Today we're looking at Clever Packing, what it does, how it improves the packing stage in Business Central, and how the workflow feels when you're actually using it. No high-level waffle today, we'll go straight into the real process, setup, packing, weights, labels, documents, and how it flows into dispatch. We'll finish with questions at the end. Why packing matters. Packing is always where small business issues turn into expensive ones. People guess the box size, weight is estimated, packaging items aren't tracked, no way to see who packed what and when, and carrier charges don't match what you expected. Clever Packing solves these by guiding the packer, recording the right information, and keeping everything inside Business Central. It removes the guesswork and replaces it with quick, reliable steps. Where Clever Packing fits in the process. The normal warehouse flow doesn't change. You pick as normal, pack using Clever Packing, post the shipment or set shipments to automatically post using the app setup. And if you use our shipping agent integration, your carrier labels and tracking come straight through based on what was packed. Clever Packing doesn't replace your process, it just makes the packing a bit smarter and more controlled. So what I'm going to be using today for the full demonstration, I have Clever Packing, Clever Labeling to automatically print packing documents and labels by setting up triggers now included for packing, Clever Print Node also for printing and weigh scale integration, and Clever Shipping Agent integration, which I'll talk about later in context. That's everything needed for a full end-to-end packing workflow. Let's jump into the setup. I've opened the Clever Packing Assisted Setup. In here, the first option is the default setup. We highly recommend you run this default configuration. It adds the basic settings to get you started. Next, we create or select the number series for packing orders and posted packing orders. If you use the same number series, then posted packing orders will have the same number as the packing orders themselves. Container journals are used to record the movement of containers through packing. So in here, we put the container journal template and the container journal batch number. The next screen, we have the packing operators. So in here, if you use codes for employees, you can input them here and the name after. For this example, I've just used the first names. Next, we create the packing stations that you want to track. So in my example here, I have 2 packing stations. I use totes at each packing station once I've picked the items for packing. The location I'm using today is the white location. The bin code, this is your shipment bin code. So you always want to select the shipment bin code for the packing station. This just ties everything together and the system knows where it needs to look for the items. You can choose to have fully picked orders only. So if there's only a part picked order, it won't let you continue until the order has been fully picked into this location. The print area code, you can set these up depending on your warehouse printers and your setup for your business. The scale ID. So if you have scales and you're using Clever Print Node and you've set your scales up, this is where you can come in and select your scale ID for the warehouse. And then your packaging consumption location code. Now I've put all my packaging in the white warehouse location, and the bin I use is my pack bin. So obviously yours may differ, but make sure to set these up for later. And then the final screen, do you wish to add 1 device per packing station or share devices across packing stations? So what that means here is we can create 1 device per packing station. We can create and link packing station to devices manually, depending on how many devices you have. Or we can set up all the devices manually. For this demo, I've created 1 device per packing station. Next, we have the packaging types. So this is how we track the packaging usage and consumption, and will help direct users to the best appropriate packaging for the current order also. So here, as you can see, what I've set up are 3 different codes. I have a fragile box, jiffy bag, and standard packing box. I've also put my shelf numbers on there. That just helps the person packaging. Then we have the length, the width, the height, and the cubage measurements for each individual one. Inner packaging allowance, and the maximum weight for each one. Then we have the packaging item number. So as you can see here, I've set the items in my system. I've got fragile boxes, standard boxes, and jiffy bags. And I've linked them to each one of the codes here. How many quantity per usage, and the unit of measure code for each one. So if you had something like bubble wrap, you could say how many meters you use per order. Next, we have the special packing requirements. Again, these are optional, but it just helps anybody packing, whether there's any relevant information needed on the items. So for my example here, I've put the code fragile. And in the description there, I've just said fragile packaging required, use bubble wrap. And what you can do with these is link them directly on the item card. At the bottom, there is a section called Clever Packing. Under here, you can select your special packing requirement for that item and select one of the codes that you've generated in this list. This will then be visible later on the packing station. And then the final screen is the general shipment options. So in here, as you can see, I have shipment on packing order post. So when I post my packing order, it will automatically ship the sales order. Post invoice on shipment, so you can go through not just the shipment automatically, it will also post the entire order to invoice stage. And print delivery documents. Automatically print the delivery documents once you've posted your packing order. And that's it. You've completed the basic assisted setup, and now you need to configure the connection between Business Central and the framework. So on this screen, you click Configure Connection. This will open up like it does in any Microsoft application, asking for your credentials to log in. You simply log in as you normally would. Then the packing station will be available. Next, I'm going to show you how the special packaging requirement works. So first of all, we'll go to the item. And then I've set up a glass jar here. Now, if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, we can see here that there's a new Clever Packing Fast tab. And then the special packaging requirement code is here. So the fragile one I set up earlier to use bubble wrap, this is where we select this. And then it will show up on the packing station later. Now, just to show you a quick look at the location that I'm going to be using for this demo, which is the white warehouse. In here, we have a new button. A new fast tab. Clever Packing, packing required. With this turned on, every time you use this warehouse location, packing will be required. And if we click on the shipment bins, in here, we can see the location codes that I've set up, the shipping agent code, the shipping agent service code, and whether packing is required on these codes, and the shipment bin that we ship from. Now I'll show you the Clever Packing bench. So when you log into the Clever Packing bench, you'll be able to select your device here. And then you select your packing operator, which we set up earlier. So I'm going to be Bob. And here on the packing station, you can already see any open packing orders that are still out to do. Or you can scan or enter the tote number, which I've got one prepared here, of the container that you're working in. So here on this packing order, on the actual sales order, I have 2 items waiting to be packed. On the screen, as you can see, you've got your packing order number, who it's packed by, packing station, the current pick container number, again, the sales order number, the customer's information here, including any contact information, the shipment date, shipping agent service here. So I'm just going to select that now. I'm going to click the standard DHL for my demo. Underneath, you can just see item number, requires the fragile packing. This is what we set up earlier for the special packaging requirements. And here is our first package. I'm going to choose standard for the standard box size. And I'm going to, you can either scan or add the items manually here. I haven't got a scanner to hand today. And you can see it's now added all of my line to the standard box. Now I know that I can't fit 20 baseball bats with that weight into a standard box, so I need to at least split these in half. The way to do that is we add a new package, click the standard box, click OK. Now we go to adjust. So I'm now telling the system that I want to move these baseball bats, 10 of, into box 2. We apply this, and now I have 2 boxes, and my baseball bat split in half, 10 in one, 10 in the other. If we close this now, back to the main screen, we can see that I have my baseball bats split correctly into each box. Now I'm going to add a new package. I'm going to choose the fragile packing box. Now I'm going to add the item into this container. And here you can see it's now added the second line from my sales order, the glass jar, into the fragile packaging type. Now, if you have print node and scale set up for your warehouse, we can come to this weigh button up here. This is where we can enter the weights either manually if you're not using scales, or if I select one of the packages and I now place it on my scales and click this weigh button here, it will automatically pull the weight from my scales. I can do the same with box number 2. And again with box number 3. Once you're happy with the weights, click apply. Close this screen. And now you can see that each package has the weight that it's just taken from my scales. When the packer is happy with everything, we come over here to complete. We click OK on here. And that's the packing order complete. Now, back on Business Central, I can see from my sales order here, I go to posted packing orders. Everything has now been registered on the system. Also at the bottom here, you can see the shipment information, the date, the agent code, and the shipping agent service. Now, the only thing left to do with the sales order would be to invoice, as the shipment was automatically being posted. Now I'll show you the shipping agent integration. So just go to the setup here, and I go into setup, and I go to the shipping agents. DHL is the one we used. If I just go to the shipping agent card, you can see some extra details have been put in here. So here are my agent packing codes from DHL directly. And over here, we can see the packaging type code. From here, these are what we set up in Clever Packing. You simply link these to the agent's packing code. So here's the important bit. Once you've packed the order, shipping agent integration automatically picks up everything it needs without you doing anything extra. So Clever Packing sends the container type you used, the dimensions, the weight from the scale, and the number of parcels. So when you move to the shipping step, Shipping agent integration already knows exactly what's being packed. There's no re-entering box sizes, no retyping weights, and no guessing which parcel is which. You pack once, and the data flows through. Then the carrier label reflects the real physical packaging because the details came straight out of Clever Packing. So that's the only point I want to make here. Packing provides the data to shipping agent integration, uses the data, and the user doesn't have to touch anything twice. So, what does all this give you? So you have faster packing, consistent box choices, accurate weights, packaging usage tracked properly, clean audit trails, and if you have Clever Shipping Agent integration installed, no double entry for shipping information. It makes the packaging stage predictable and efficient. So we have many more enhancements and features to come on our roadmap. Here are just a few coming in the next release. We're going to add the ability to take photos of packed items, capture the photos of completed packages. We're going to have some integration with Clever Comments on the roadmap, so you'll be able to, the packing person will be able to see any comments relevant to their orders that they're packing. We're going to try and support multiple sales orders. We're going to consolidate multiple orders into one shipment. And integration with Clever Quality to ensure quality checks are also done during the packing stage, and many, many, many more. Thank you for joining me today. If you do have any questions or suggestions for the future, please feel free to contact us via the details on screen.